Hey guys, I don't really know when this video is gonna go up. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be like a what I've been reading this summer type video, but it's literally May right now when I'm starting this video. My first book I'm reading is Book Lovers by Emily Henry. I'm trying to read a lot of books this summer. Last semester while I was at college, I literally stopped reading. My goal this year was to read 50 books and I'm at like 16, I think. I'm like 3 books behind schedule, so I need to catch up. Like I said, my first book of this vlog is going to be Book Lovers by Emily Henry. I'm already a little bit into it. I'm on page 129. So far it's pretty good. It's about a girl named Nora Stevens. She's from New York. She's lived in New York her whole life. She works as a literary agent. So I think she like helps authors get publishers, but she's lived in New York her whole life. She's kind of like a businesswoman, typical stereotype of that. And her sister asks her to go on a vacation with her for a whole month to this place called Sunshine Falls. Her sister wants Nora to have like this book romance moment where she like goes to a small town and falls in love, and Nora's like, that's not happening. She goes because she loves her sister, and she actually runs into this guy named Charlie who is like her arch nemesis back in New York. So far it's really good. Let's keep reading. I don't want to diss the book already because I'm like not even halfway through. I'm on page 142 now. I'm just kind of bored. It's not that exciting. Why is there almost 400 pages of this? I don't know, maybe because I'm like more into other genres now, like romance just isn't doing it for me. I don't know, I'm just bored. I just finished chapter 15. Why do book characters always make stupid decisions? Like, oh my god, I just made out with a guy? That's a bad sign. Need to break up with him. Need to get away from him. Cannot be with him. Come on, that means he likes you and that means you like him. Let's get it together. I need to read a book where the characters make the right decisions. I just took a break from reading to shower and like refresh, and now I'm gonna dive back in. I'm like halfway through now. I literally loved this author's other 2 books, so I don't know why I'm like not loving this one. This man, such a good book character. Page 229. I say, you've watched me. Of course I fucking do, he says in a low, rough voice. I can't stop. I'm always aware of where you are, even if I don't look, but it's impossible not to. He literally loves her so much and she's oblivious. Later the same day, it's like 8:30 at night now, and I finished the book. I have a lot of thoughts, mixed feelings. If you follow me on Goodreads, you definitely already saw my review, and Instagram I post it in real time on my story, so make sure you follow me on both of those. I decided to give this book 4 stars. This whole vlog I was kind of like, I'm bored, and I was bored until I got about halfway through 200 pages in, so that's like more than halfway. I did end up liking the book overall. It was very Hallmark movie vibes. It was definitely my least favorite of Emily Henry's books. The other 2 I loved, so I would recommend this book, but I'd recommend her other 2 books first. One thing I did really love about this book though was the trope of the guy falling first. He was kind of in love with her the whole time and she was like, I don't know. 4 stars. Book Lovers by Emily Henry. My next book, I have 3 options. All 3 of these I am so excited about. The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle, Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and The Atlas 6 by Olivia Blake. I decided to put on my Instagram story a poll and you guys can decide which one I'm gonna read. I'm gonna wait like 30 more minutes and see which book you guys want me to read. I'm hoping it's 7.5 Deaths, but I'm really excited to read all of them. This one I am really excited to read though, so if you guys pick this one, then I'm gonna be so excited. It's been like an hour since I posted the little thing on my Instagram story, so I'm gonna see what book you guys want me to read. A couple votes for Atlas 6 and Malibu Rising, but most of you said The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle, so looks like this book will be next. This one's a little longer. It's like 400 something pages, 458 pages. I forgot to tell you guys what the book was about. The back says, The Rules of Blackheath. Evelyn Hardcastle will be murdered at 11 p.m. There are 8 days and 8 witnesses for you to inhabit. We will only let you escape once you tell us the name of the killer. Understood? Then let's begin. That sounds so good. Evelyn Hardcastle will die every day until Aiden Bishop can identify her killer and break the cycle. But every time the day begins again, Aiden wakes up in the body of a different guest, and some of his hosts are more helpful than others. This sounds so good. Ooh, we have a little map of the estate. Ooh, and we have an invitation for the party in question. At the bottom it says, we ask all guests to kindly refrain from discussing Thomas Hardcastle and Charlie Carver, as the tragic events surrounding them still grieve the family greatly. That seems a little strange to include on a invitation. Oh, I'm literally so excited to read this book now. Chapter 1, Day 1. Literally just after chapter 1, I know this is gonna be such a good book. Literally plunged right into the action. I never liked CDs. So I wanted to do an update. I have been reading The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle. I went to Philly last weekend to visit Christian, and that's where I started this book. I was reading it on the train. I'm about halfway through right now. I'm on page 211. The book is weird. It's good, but it's definitely more complex than I was expecting. I'm sure I'm gonna like it. It's just different than what I thought it was. I thought it'd be more modern, and it's more like old-timey, which makes it interesting because I haven't really read stuff like that. I'll have to wait to see how it ends to determine how many stars I'm gonna give it, because right now I'd say probably like 3.5, 4. It's good, but not my favorite. It's the next day. I just wanted to say that I literally have no guesses who the murderer is. There are so many characters. There was like one note that was like, watch out for this person, but that person seems like they are not connected to the murder at all. There are literally so many characters in this book. They'll say names and like they're all men. There are no women characters, and they all have generic ass names like Daniel, Peter. I cannot keep track of these people. Like, I don't remember who is who. Page 248, a plot twist I was not expecting. Okay, I'm trying to talk quiet because my family is sleeping, but it's been a hot second since I vlogged for this video. By hot second, I mean like literally a couple days. I still haven't finished this book. For some reason, this book is putting me in like a little slump. It's been very hard for me to get through, but I am finally at a point where I'm like, I want to read it, I want to finish it, I want to know what happens. There's less than 100 pages left, so I feel like that's pretty far in a book for me to finally be like, yes, let's go and read it. But that's how this book is. I'm on page 357. It's like the concept I like. I just don't like how it was executed in the book at all. I got in all kinds of trouble. 16 days and I'll be leaving, but in 7 or 8 I'll be screaming. Hit the road and just finished, and I have a lot of thoughts. So like I've been saying, this book was very complex. The plot was just a lot. It was very hard to follow. There were so many characters. I was confused a lot throughout the book. I don't want to say the majority of the book, but just like a lot of the book, I was like, what is happening? Basically, the man is like going into a bunch of different people's bodies, but he doesn't know who he is. It would be as if like I was going into my friend's body and I had their thoughts, like knew who they were, but I didn't know who I was anymore. So it was very confusing because of that. Also, there was a lot of fat phobia in this book. There's no need for it. It could have gone without. There was absolutely no point to it. Things I liked though, I did like the overall message of the book. It's basically about being able to change, that change is able to happen. People can change, and that people deserve redemption and they deserve forgiveness. I did appreciate that the author did end up tying up every single loose end at the end of the book, and I would definitely say the author keeps the reader guessing because there are so many suspects and so many characters. The reader is constantly like guessing. There are just so many questions the reader can ask during the book. So my overall review, I decided to give this book 3 stars because I feel like I would recommend it to other people depending on what they like. I just probably will never read it again. I have no idea what I'm gonna read next, but I'm probably gonna pick a couple and then put up my Instagram story and let you guys decide. It's the next morning. I'm about to go to the gym, but you guys voted and I counted up the votes, and the book that won is Reminders of Him by Colleen Hoover. I put only Colleen Hoover books on my little vote which book to read because I just want like a quick book after that last one. I just want a quick little romance book that will probably rip my heart out, but it's fine. This is her newest one and there's just been a lot of hype around it lately and I want to read it so bad. Alright, so I can't remember if I said this or not, but the next book I'm reading is Reminders of Him by Colleen Hoover. I just realized I did tell you guys that. It is 10:15 right now. I want to go to bed by like 11:15, 11:30. So let's see how far I can get in this book tonight. So one thing, I like books sometimes where the guy falls first, but like so far this one, like he saw her and it was just like love at first sight. Like he can't stop looking at her. She's so attractive. She has perfect features. She's wearing a Mountain Dew t-shirt. It literally says she's wearing a faded Mountain Dew t-shirt and jeans, but the green in the shirt matches the green in her eyes with such perfection. And that is not a cute outfit, and the way that he said it like makes her eyes pop or whatever is just weird. I did not like that. This woman just got out of prison. She shows up at a bar and the bartender's in love with her. Like, no, you need to give her a little while. The first person you see does not just fall in love with you. Bro, 30 pages in, already a plot twist. How does she do it? Okay, so these next few clips I'm going to include were also in my last video because that video overlapped with me reading this book. So if you already watched this video, you can skip to this timestamp to see my full review. But if you didn't watch my last video, here are some clips of me tabbing some of the quotes I really liked from the beginning of this book. So this one says, "Life can be so fucking cruel and hard, and I've wanted to quit living it so many times, but then moments like these remind me that happiness isn't some permanent thing we're all trying to achieve in life. It's merely a thing that shows up every now and then, sometimes in tiny doses that are just substantial enough to keep us going." The next one was on page 29. It says, this one isn't like my favorite quote, but I just kind of liked it. "People say you fall in love, but fall is such a sad word when you think about it. Falls are never good. You fall on the ground, you fall behind, you fall to your death. Whoever was the first person to say they fell in love must have already fallen out of it. Otherwise, they'd have called it something much better." I only had one other. Oh, the next one is just, it's a poem the main character wrote for her daughter. It says, "I have a daughter I've never held. She has a scent I've never smelled. She has a name I've never yelled. She has a mother who has already failed." So those are the three I'm gonna tab right now. And then I went up to Dorset, Vermont with my friend and I did some reading there. I've been reading for like the whole time we're here. This is gonna be a spoiler, so skip if you don't want to hear it. But I'm at the part where we're finally gonna find out what happened that night with Kenna and Scotty, and I'm so excited. But like I don't want to read it here really, because what if I cry? But I really want to read it right now. This is me before I read it. This is me after the chapter and I'm fine. It wasn't that life-changing. I mean, it was like sad obviously, but it wasn't like made me cry. We'll see if the rest of the book makes me cry because it's still a lot left. This is me editing this video and realizing I never recorded my final thoughts on Reminders of Him. That last bit where I was at Dorset and reading, I literally finished the book the next day, and I guess I just never recorded myself saying what I thought of the book. So I'm just gonna tell you right now. It's been a little bit since I finished it, but it was so good. I gave the book 5 stars. I loved this book. The topic was something I never thought to learn more about or would have never thought to read a book about, but literally just because it was Colleen Hoover, I was like, of course I'm reading it, and I'm so glad I did because I became more educated on the topic, and it really like made me feel empathy for mothers in prison or mothers that are just coming out of prison. I also really liked how even though the book is a romance and it is about Kenna romantically, it's also like it's more so about Kenna and her relationship with her daughter and how that affects her and the people around her, and I really liked that. This book, it made me cry. It was so good. It Ends With Us will always be my favorite Coho book, but this one, Reminders of Him, is definitely my second favorite Coho book now. If you take nothing else from this video, just take away that you need to read this book. I think everyone should read it. That being said, that is going to be the end of this video. I read 3 whole books. Comment down below which one was your favorite and which one you think you might read, or if you've read any of them. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did, and subscribe to my channel for videos every Tuesday at 3 p.m. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video.